In this program, we will introduce you to the drill press. We'll describe all the parts and controls of the drill press and how they affect what operations can be performed. We have included some helpful safety information and a demonstration of some of the most common operations. The drill press is a boring and cutting machine that utilizes various cutting tools that are mounted in a rotating spindle. Drill presses are either floor-mounted or bench-mounted, the only real differences being size and power. The drill press was originally designed for use in metal working shops, but was quickly adopted by woodworkers as well. With the proper accessories, a drill press is one of the most flexible power tools in the wood shop. The most common operations are drilling and boring, but drill presses can be used for sanding, shaping, polishing, doweling, even for making dovetail joints. In many cases, these special operations take too much time to set up. But for the woodworker on a tight budget or with limited space, the drill press can be an incredible resource. The drill press can be used for drilling or boring the edges, ends, or faces of stock. The stock can be flat or round, large or small, as long as the proper clamps and staging tools are used. By installing a mortising attachment, precision mortise cuts can be made. The drill press is an indispensable woodshop tool. They're used in furniture and cabinet making shops for production work and in general wood shops and home shops too. Carpenters, construction workers, maintenance workers, all can benefit from having access to a drill press. The drill press is a fairly safe machine, but still one deserving respect and care to prevent injury. Drill bits and cutter tools rotate at great speed and can potentially cause serious injury to your eyes or your hands. Use clamps and staging devices to position the stock properly, and most of the danger can thus be avoided. Eye protection is mandatory, and we'll cover more on safety later. The drill press has a base or lower table which is either bolted to the floor or a bench top. The column holds the upper table and the head. The table has two slots for clamping stock and a hole in the center for the drill bit to pass through. The table is positioned up and down the column and can be tilted to the left or to the right. It's held in position with the table locking lever. The head contains all of the moving parts. The spindle rotates and travels up and down with the quill. Now, the quill is operated by a feed lever and travels from 4 to 6 inches. The quill is spring-loaded and will smoothly return to the resting position after the boring operation is complete. The locking lever of the quill secures the quill and can be useful for sanding or shaping operations. Adjustable stop nuts can be preset for drilling several holes at the same depth. The depth gauge indicates travel of the quill. The chuck holds the drill bit or cutting tool and has 3 jaws that grip the drill bit shank. A chuck key is used to tighten the jaws of the chuck. Sometimes different chucks are installed for routing or shaping operations. The motor is attached to the spindle through pulleys and a drive belt. The pulleys are either 4-step cone pulleys or expanding pulleys, which allow the speed of rotation to be adjusted. A guard protects the operator from the drive belt, and the on-off switch is mounted in a convenient location, and it functions like any other woodworking machine. The overall size of a drill press is determined by doubling the distance between the center of the chuck and the column. This is the maximum width of stock which may be drilled in the center. For instance, a 14-inch drill can drill in the center of a 14-inch wide board. The height of the drill press will affect how large a project can be brought into position for various operations. The chuck capacity determines the largest diameter drill bit shank that may be mounted in the chuck. 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, or 5/8 inch are the most common. Sometimes a secondary chuck is required for small bits. The power of a drill press is determined by the size of the motor, and motors range from 1/2 to 3 horsepower. The speed that a drill press turns the spindle is adjustable, usually from 450 to 4,800 RPM. The speed is adjusted by moving the drive belt between step cone pulleys or by adjusting the expansion pulleys. The best speed for drilling softwood is faster than for drilling hardwood. Speeds for drilling metal are the slowest. Be sure to check with the operator's manual or the shop supervisor to determine the best speeds for each individual operation. The feed rate is also important. Drill presses are fed manually by lowering the feed lever. Experience will help you to adjust your feed rates. The most common accessory for the drill press is a good set of drill bits. Twist bits are used to drill in metal, plastic, as well as wood, and provide satisfactory results for smaller diameter holes. Spur bits have cutter spurs on the outer lips and threads to remove shavings. Multi-spur bits are used to cut large diameter holes. Spur bits are for drilling wood only, but cut cleaner holes than twist bits, especially when drilling large holes in soft wood. Expansion bits allow various size holes to be drilled. Fly cutters cut large diameter circles. Hole saws cut large, shallow holes. Countersinks cut bevel holes for recessing screws. Countersink bits incorporate boring and countersink operations into one tool. Other attachments include mortising chisel sets, sanding drums, plug cutters, and router bits. One tool that is essential, especially for drilling small or irregular shaped materials, is the drill press vise. Some models tilt and are versatile for drilling in just about any angle or position. The drill press is a fairly safe power tool when used properly. Make sure the power is disconnected before setting it up. Avoid loose clothing that might get caught in the machine, and wear proper eye protection. Here are a few additional safety rules to keep in mind. Adjust the speed properly. Check the speed by looking at the pulley. Do this before placing the drill bit in the chuck. Softwood may be drilled at faster speeds, hardwoods and metals at slower speeds. Another general rule is the larger the hole, the slower the speed. Check the operator's manual for proper speeds. Use the proper drill bit. Be sure to select the proper bit for each specific operation. Don't try to make a bit do a job for which it's not expressly designed. Use only drill bits which are sharp and straight. A dull bit causes the drill to work harder and may cause binding and burning of the stock. Or the bit may break and cause damage to the material or injury to you. Check for proper setup. Check to see that the bit is centered in the chuck. Tighten the chuck with the key. Never leave the key in the chuck. Always remove the key after tightening or removing a bit. The chuck key should never be in the chuck without your hand on the key. This rule will prevent the key from being thrown off if the drill is started by accident. Support the work properly. If the material being drilled might be seized by the turning drill, use a clamp, and when in doubt, clamp it down. Use a V-block when drilling round wood, metal, or plastic. Place a piece of scrap under the stock when drilling all the way through. This will prevent splintering on the bottom side. Use a center punch for metal. Center punch all locations when drilling metal or hard objects. This will prevent the drill bit from wandering. Do not allow the bit to strike the table. Set up the table so that the bit will not strike it. Either align the bit to pass through the table's center hole or to the side of the table. Always keep your hands away from the rotating bit. Maintain a generous safety margin between the rotating bit and you. Never reach under the stock. Never force the drill. Be sure the bit is not in contact with the stock each time you start the drill. Use firm but not forceful pressure. When drilling deep holes, withdraw the bit several times to clear it of shavings. Never leave the drill press while it's running. When you have completed the operation, turn off the drill press and wait until it comes to a complete stop. Maintain a clean work area. Remove the bit, store the bit and chuck key properly, and clean up all the dust and chips. In this section of the program, we'll demonstrate how to use the drill press. Make sure the power cord is disconnected before making any adjustments to the drill press. Check the pulleys for proper speed. Select the drill bit, center it in the chuck, and tighten the chuck with the chuck key. If you're going to drill all the way through the stock, place a piece of scrap underneath. Clamp the stock to be drilled. Position the table so that the bit will not strike the table or the clamp. Adjust the depth gauge for the desired depth of the hole. Make sure the bit is not in contact with the stock. Turn on the motor and let it come up to full speed. Use the feed lever to drill the hole. If the hole is deep, withdraw the bit several times to clear it of shavings as you go. Don't try to force the bit at too fast a pace. Let the tool do the work. When the hole is complete, let the quill return to the resting position and turn off the motor. Wait until the bit has stopped rotating and loosen the chuck with the key. Remove the bit and return both the key and the bit to their proper storage places. To drill metal, check the speed that's recommended for the particular bit. In general, slower speeds are required for drilling metal. Feed the bit into the stock at the proper rate. Too slow will overheat the drill by friction, and too fast may cause excessive pressure, which may break the bit or damage stock. Be sure to continually lubricate the drill bit and metal stock with threading oil. The drill press can also be used with a drum sander attachment. Check the pulley for speed. Sanding must be done at a slow speed. Install a wood table onto the table. Bring up the table so that the drum fits down into the hole in the wooden table plate. Adjust the quill elevation and lock it into position, and protect yourself from the dust particles. Hold the work flat on the table and sand with a light and steady pressure. This setup will allow convex shapes to be sanded quite easily. Just don't try to remove too much material too quickly. When you're done, remove the drum sanding attachment and clean up the area. Let's take a minute to review the basic safety rules for operating the drill press. Adjust the speed properly. Use the proper drill bit. Use only drill bits which are sharp and straight. Check for proper setup. Never leave the key in the chuck. Support the work properly. Use a center punch for metal. Do not allow the bit to strike the table. Always keep your hands away from the rotating bit. Never force the drill. Never leave the drill press while it's running. And maintain a clean work area. There was only enough time in this program to show just a few of the operations that are possible on the drill press. Many more are possible, making the drill press one of the most versatile tools for the modern woodworker. Until next time, remember to have a safe and productive woodworking session.